Hello everyone, welcome to FedScoop TV. I'm your host, Greg Otto. We're coming from the Digital Nation Summit today, and I'm talking with Tim Champney, Regional Vice President for NextLab. Tim, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I want to get your perspective on the government's move to digital. Would you consider it a success story?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big question. I'd say overall, I map back to kind of adoption curves, right? So you got early inventors or innovators, you got early adopters, you got early majority, late majority, and you got laggards. And I think if you combine that with layer on top of where they are as far as refreshes go or critical events, I think you're going to see, I'd say, early majority is kind of where we are in that adoption curve. I think people had to jump in earlier, high-profile agencies that needed to go do it quicker, and the time frame was right for them. I think everybody understands the need for it, and I think they're working their way through it.
Okay. Are there any specific anecdotes or any examples that you have off the top of your head that show how the government can lead that charge?
I think one of the ones that was in the news, obviously, was the VA.
Okay.
And so if you have these veterans that have multiple locations, right, and they go into their hospital, the VA, in Virginia, and yet they vacation in Florida, having to go down to Florida, not have the records be digital, not be able to share it. I think they were the poster child of having to go do it early. I mean, there's pockets of that everywhere, but I'd say the VA kind of stands out to me as making those records digital and then sharing them and having a system that can actually use them.
Okay. So what emerging technologies are you seeing, or what emerging technologies will help federal agencies move forward as they realize that it's a new digital world and they have to meet up with the mission and the demands of their citizens? Yeah,
so I think the big one jumps out, and it's the cloud. And so if you look at what these agencies do and do well, they have missions, and IT is kind of a subcomponent, but it's really not their mission.
Right.
And so I think people, it's kind of controversy at first when you look at the cloud and what it does, and any new technology, disruptive or not, it scares people at first. People need to understand that it's not taking away jobs, it's potentially repurposing, but the fact that they can be scaled better, more efficient, and the cloud is it's a more effective way for these guys to go about managing their IT. So I think a cloud in my mind jumps out. I think social media is another one. With Twitter can be a good thing, bad thing, but I think you're seeing people leverage social media in a way that informs people a little bit more transparent. But between cloud and social media, I think those are two driving emerging technologies that are kind of getting the grips in the federal government.
Finally, what are the biggest challenges in the way of agencies as they move toward digital?
Yeah, I think there's politics.
Okay.
And that's always going to be the case. And I think digital is one aspect of it, but digital is not the end game. Right? That's almost the first step of, once it becomes digital, what do I do with it? Right? And then how do I share it? How do I leverage it? How do I make sure it's secure? And how do I get information out of it and use that for positive data or just a value? So I think the big thing is the politics involved. How do I share amongst agencies? How do I leverage that digital information? So I think we're on the climb up. I think it's the first part, but a big of it is the secure collaboration and what I do with that digital information and turning it into data actually be useful.
Great. Tim, appreciate your insight. Thanks for joining us.
All right, take care.
For all of our videos, check out our YouTube channel, and for more information, check out fedscoop.com.